Good morning. No, not morning. It's afternoon. And welcome to Talking Cafe Live on June the 15th with this lovely sunny weather. So we're here today to talk to Claire and to Kat about what a micro provider is and how you can become one. So I'm going to invite Claire and Kat to join us. So here we go. Good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to Talking Cafe Live. I think this is your first one, isn't it?
Yes.
Certainly.
Don't
so
be scared.
With us, Tracey.
It's absolutely fine. So yes, everybody hears this word micro provider, but nobody really knows what a micro provider is and how they can become one and what is involved and how they support people in our local community. So do you want to just explain a little bit about your job roles, please, if that's okay?
Yeah. So we are here as enterprise advisors for the Community Council for Somerset, and we are here to support new and existing micro providers and their networks that are across the whole county to ensure that they are sustainable and the variety of services that are offered meets the needs of the local communities, really.
Sounds good. And you cover West Somerset, don't you, Kat?
Yes. So I'm covering, so between Claire and myself, we're covering the whole county, and I'm over on the west side, Claire over on the east side, and we have the M5 sort of spine, as we call it, down the middle, that we both work together on. Yeah.
Brilliant. So we've got with your enterprise team and obviously the marketing team, you've put together a lovely presentation which we're going to share now with everybody, and then they'll be able to see it on the screen hopefully. And don't forget, everybody, in the comments you can write any comments in there. Obviously we are recording live now, but it will be recorded and it will be shared across the whole of the county over the next few days, and will always be there. So if I just add to the stream, I'll get rid of that little one there. And there we go with our first slide. So micro providers, support and advice, and obviously here today with Kat and Claire. So if we just move on, I'll leave this up to you then, ladies. What is a micro provider?
Thank you. So just to introduce myself and Claire a little bit more. My background, I was a village agent for about 3.5 years with the Community Council for Somerset, and I was based in the Wiveliscombe area for about 3.5 years. It's a role I absolutely loved, and through that role I definitely came to appreciate what a valuable asset micro providers are, and the services that they can offer and the support that they can offer to their local community. So I'm really, really excited to be involved with this project, as it is such an opportunity to grow the micro provider offer and put them on the map even more than they already are. So I'll hand over to Claire so she can tell a little bit more about herself and her background.
Hello, thank you. So my name's Claire Searle. And prior to becoming an enterprise advisor, I was a micro provider myself, and I worked throughout Taunton and surrounding areas, but I was also one of the leads for the Taunton network of micro providers as well. It was a role I absolutely adored, but when I was offered this opportunity to become an enterprise advisor, decided to come along and be able to pay my thought at some advice and everything that I have forward to those people that are looking at the opportunity of becoming micro providers. So here I am, absolutely loving it, and it's a great role that we're getting those micro providers to the clients, you know, and that ultimately is what it's all about, is getting the clients that support they need. So,
and like you say, Claire, I think when you've done the job yourself, you're the perfect advocate, aren't you? You know, and obviously Kat as well, she understands, because of working as a village agent, what is entailed as being as a micro provider. So
we always say that the people that interviewed us knew what they were doing, because putting us together as a team, we've got an amazing knowledge base. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant. So here we go onto your next little slide.
Well, if you come back to the one before.
Oh, sorry, love. Oh, I went too fast, didn't I? Sorry.
So, I mean, yeah, a really, really important question to start off with is, what is a micro provider? Because I think there are still a lot of people out there who may not realise what a micro provider is, and perhaps that they are already a micro provider. So a micro provider is somebody who offers a service, and it's a paid for service that supports or cares for somebody in their own home, and generally locally, with their everyday tasks, to enable them to stay well and to get out and about. And yeah, they make a really positive difference supporting local people. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Kat, as well, this is not just for the elderly. So there are people that have got learning disabilities, or just basically just need some extra support, you know, whether it be in the home or with cleaning. It is not just literally for the elderly, it's for younger people as well. So if they're needing the support and care. So it is right across the board. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think that's, really important to bear in mind as well. And then, yes, if we move on to the next slide, because I think people who are aware of micro providers may think immediately care and personal care, and that absolutely is, there's a huge demand for that, and there are lots and lots of micro providers offering that. But a message that we are keen to get out there is that the micro provider offering can be so versatile and varied, and we've got just a few suggestions on here of the sorts of things that micro providers might offer, and this list is by no means exhaustive either, but it is your personal care and your care all the way through to companionship, your shopping support, and everything in between, your gardening, your dog walkers, your mobile hairdressers, and that allows people to really play to their strengths in terms of the services that they might want to offer and be able to offer. So it's a really universal offer for lots of people to tap into.
And like you say, everybody will have their own little things that they're good at, won't they? Like you say, it might be the lady that was a hairdresser, but then now she's not a mobile hairdresser because she's brought up her children for the last 3 or 4 years, but actually she's wanting to get back into it, but she can't work in, you know, sort of like as mobile as she used to, but just occasional clients that, you know, that she can. And I think that's the thing, they can just do what they need to do time wise around their family life as well, don't they?
Definitely. And yeah, so the regular roles, but also maybe the one-off roles. So somebody needing to come home from hospital, for example, but their house needs a deep clean or a declutter, and so there are those sort of one-off roles as well. So yeah, the types of support and the forms that those support jobs come in, whether it's a regular role or just a one-off as well. So I think we're probably ready for the next slide.
Yeah.
And over to you.
So benefits becoming a micro provider. So it's interesting, varied work in your local area. So as Kat's already mentioned, that the work is anything and everything that you feel passionate about, that you feel that you can support people with. My golden nugget is always make sure you choose for your role something you enjoy doing. So I would say if you are allergic to dogs and you don't like dogs, don't offer dog walking. It's as simple as that. But if you enjoy gardening like I do, I offered my service as a gardener as well when I was a micro provider. So it's one of those sort of things. And by me doing all those things that I enjoyed, I absolutely adored the job and thrived within it. So and then you have flexible working hours, so they'll fit in with your lifestyle. So I was a single parent. I didn't work evenings, I didn't work weekends. I chose to do that. It was my business, so I could do that. I think that's the beauty of it as well, is that it fits in around you and your life. So if you've got somebody who has been a stay-at-home mum who wants to look at getting back out there, but they've got to fit in with the school times and things like that, this is a brilliant role for that. Or somebody who's retired but doesn't feel quite ready to fully retire and just wants to, you know, pay it forward in the community that way. So they'll be able to choose the hours that they work. There is no minimum and there is no maximum amount of hours that you can choose to work. So within Somerset County Council, they offer a free development programme and accreditation. So this basically means that the individual will go through a few processes, and then at the end of it, they get given an accreditation from the county council. And it's almost something that most micro providers, when they're wearing it, they out there and they're proud because they've got something to prove that they're trustworthy, they've been checked and everything else. So that's a huge importance. There is free help to get set up and find clients. That comes through the get set up would be through myself and Kat, and then the finding clients would be on the other side once they become accredited. Ongoing support and advice, Kat and I are here from the moment somebody shows interest, all through to the other side once they're accredited and within their networks, if they choose to do so. And again, it states here the peer support from local networks. The networks in Somerset are invaluable. They are amazing, and they are there literally as support networks to make sure that everybody feels included. A lot of people may come from backgrounds where they've been working in care homes and they're used to having a team. And when you're out there on your own as a micro provider, you don't feel like you have that, and it's quite daunting. So these networks are amazing that you can have that support from. If you go on to the next one, please.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you. So micro providers, why are they important? They give people in their homes the ability to have more choice and control over their care. The client will choose who they want, when they want them, and all of those other things. They may be self-funders, the clients, or they may be government financed clients, so that would be direct payments through Somerset County Council, but still it's all in the control of the client, which is amazing. The main thing is that the client will get to stay independent. They get to stay in their own homes for a lot longer. They get to have their family and friends around them. They're not in a care home somewhere, which may have to be, you know, something that they had to look at one time before micro providers, and they can choose what they want to do with a micro provider. So if they want to go out for a walk, you know, do all of those things. I had one client who liked to go running, and I'd go out for a run with her every Friday. It was one of those that by the end of it, I didn't like running much more, but I learned to be a bit more fitter with myself. But it was something, yep.
You were very brave.
Yeah, brave or silly, I don't know which one, but yeah, I survived it though. And it enables people to do all of those things in their own environment that they wish to stay in, and choose the life that they live, choose how they go about things. And it might be that somebody's lost the ability to knit, and actually a micro provider might be able to go in and sit with them and help knit things, you know, and do all of those things. So it's just the smallest things that we might take for granted in our normal day that, say, 90-year-old Doris, who has nobody around her, is struggling to do and needs that support. So yeah, then that's
lovely.
Over to Kat for the next one, please.
Mm-hmm. So there are lots of people out there already doing this. So there are currently almost 700 micro enterprises in Somerset, and they are providing thousands of hours of care and support every week for local people. And we posed the question, sort of, what's an ideal number? How many are we aiming to find? And the reply was unlimited. You know, it's very much the more the merrier.
Definitely.
You know, we need more micro providers. They are such a valuable asset to local communities, and it is such a wonderful opportunity for people to pursue. So yeah, there's no ceiling to the number of people that we're looking for. And could we go on to the next one?
Yeah.
So perhaps most importantly, how to become a micro provider. So we've distilled this down, sort of the basic stages of what you need to do if this is something of interest to you. So the first thing would be to register your interest and a little bit about the service idea that you have with the micro enterprise team with the council. And that will generate an invitation for you to register for what they call a startup surgery. And these are currently run on a weekly basis via Zoom on a Tuesday morning at 10:30, about an hour and a half or so. And it's a really good general overview of micro providing, what you need to do, the sorts of people who are signed up and what they're doing, and it covers some of the legalities and some of the important information surrounding that. And then it's a case of developing and building your portfolio. Now, your portfolio is really important. It'll be your Bible It's where you keep all your important documents, so your DBS check, your insurance documents, your templates for contracts and policies and procedures. And I think, you know, some people will hear the words policies and procedures, and that can be quite daunting in itself. And Claire and myself are absolutely here to help with that stage in the process, to ensure that everybody really understands what is in your portfolio, why it's there, because there's important information there for the client and to protect the client, but also important information to protect the micro provider as well, and just ensure that they're operating professionally along the way. And then within that, there are certain documents that you would then upload to the county council for your accreditation. And then you are good to go after that. So those are your main steps in order to become a micro provider.
Can I just say as well, Kat, that actually people don't have to drive as well, do they? If they are, there's somebody that doesn't drive,
there are lots of people.
They can either walk or they can cycle or they can use the bus. It's very much, don't feel that you have to be able to have your own vehicle to become a micro provider. You can be a micro provider in your local village and just walk to where you need to do this support that's needed in your community. So I think that's an important thing for people to realise. You don't have to be able to drive for this as well.
Definitely. And there are people operating on that basis already. And as you say, either using public transport or walking or cycling. All those options. And there are definitely people out there working in that way already. And it is about supporting your local community.
Yeah.
So that's where that sort of setup can absolutely work. Definitely. Over to Claire.
Micro provider network. I do apologize. I had to mute because there was somebody at my front door and the dog was barking. Sorry. So you've got your micro provider network. So micro provider networks are throughout the whole of Somerset. There's currently around 18 micro provider networks, and they are the main point of peer group support. Everybody in those networks have been functioning. Majority of them who functioning for more than a year or so, and they all have so much input and experience to give each other, not just through micro providing, but I know, say, in some networks we have ex-social workers, ex-school teachers, and all of those people, ex-accountants, you know, so the advice that they get given is not just through the role of being a micro provider, it's also through their own experience of what they may have done previously that actually brings a lot to the table for the networks. Within the network, they also have opportunities for training. They do have some in-house trainers within the networks that will offer a lower rate courses to people within them. And they also have the opportunity to be able to do internal referrals for work. So it might be that somebody has a client that needs another micro provider, and they can go to their network because they know everybody in their network is trusted. They've been checked. They've had an induction process to go through their portfolio. And so they know that they can recommend somebody in their network going forward to that client. And the other great thing about the networks is that they are all updated and informed regularly. Throughout COVID, they were absolutely amazing support for one another in regards to PPE, infection control standards, all of those sort of things. Any worries that people had, you know, it's quite a strange time for us all, but all the people in the network sort of pulled together to support each other, and it's something that they continue to do now going forward. So we do recommend that most people, once they become accredited, do try and join a network because it is a valuable resource for them, and it will help their business blossom, you know, to support them through it. So, yeah, so if you go on to the next one, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do people go about finding clients? We have quite a lot of options. We've listed 4 here, but the other ones that I would add is with the online directory that's going to be updated very soon. You may get phone calls from clients on your home phone or your mobile. One little nugget of information on your home phone for micro providers, a client is more likely to leave a voicemail if they know exactly who they're calling. So it's a good thing to have your own voicemail message on there for them to hear, to say who you are and that, you know, would they like to leave a message? Because I used to receive a lot of calls or conversations with people that would say it's so daunting, the process anyway, to try and get someone to help, that when you haven't got an idea who you're phoning, because it just rings and rings and goes straight to answer machine, sometimes they just wouldn't leave a message, you know, and then the micro provider might miss out on that care package or support. So the other way that we have is referrals, and that could be at the moment through the micro provider networks. There's a lot of referrals that come through, whether it be from village agents. So CCS have a big, huge hand in you know, getting the clients a micro provider, and that will be through the WhatsApp groups with the referrals on them. So we've also got the direct online directory that I already said about, and that will be a list of a lot of micro providers on there. But it has since been simplified to the adult social care brokerage tool. My best description of this is it's a dating app for the clients to meet the micro provider, and it will basically match the client to a micro provider or a number of micro providers who fit in with what the client's requested, whether it be morning and evening visits, personal care, all of those things. That's how it will be filled out a form by the client, and then it will get sent off, and then all of the micro providers in that area that have the availability and that match the need of the clients, they will get an email asking whether or not they can help the client, and they'll press yes or no. And if they press yes, it goes back to the client, and then the client can make an informed decision looking through the person's details, the micro provider's details, of who they would most like to meet, and have a meet and greet sort of interview with them. And then, as I've already said, the other micro providers, word of mouth, people know who in their area has got availability, and, you know, who maybe has just started out. They're the ones that everybody tries to grab out, the ones that have just started as a micro provider and have all the availability. They're the ones that everybody goes and you know, we need you here, we need you there. So that's what part and parcel of being the networks, is that you can, you know, identify those people, so that they can get their business up and running a lot quicker, and they know that you're trusted as well. So that is the actual routes for finding work. A lot of people do ask whether or not there is going to be enough work out there, and I think you might be able to confirm this, Tracy, but there is a lot of work out there.
We are constantly looking for micro providers all the time, especially, well, I know it's all over Somerset, but for West Somerset especially, you know, for mainly Dulverton, Exford, Winsford, Willerton and Watchet especially. There's always something that comes in, and it's not usually personal care. It's somebody that they need somebody to go and do their shopping, or they need somebody to do some gardening a couple of hours once a fortnight, or they're little jobs. But to that client, him looking at his overgrown grass and he can't sit out in his garden is major to him. And just to be able to find someone, also to have somebody to talk to when they come to cut the grass for him once a fortnight or once a week, you know, depending. So friendships are made, even though it is a paid job as well. Friendships are made for a long time with clients and micro providers, very much so.
Yeah, I was very much a family member when I was micro providing, and that's how they all treated me. You know, and that was the thing, you do become part of the family with them, because you're a lot more involved, being there the majority of the time, sort of thing.
And peace of mind for family members, like you say, that live away, you know, which does happen. So once it's all worked out, you know, it's lovely that the family members can speak to their dad or their daughter even and say, oh, it's great, this happened today, or they took me out today, I went to Minehead on the seafront and had fish and chips, you know, it's all that sort of thing.
So
person-centered. So is it for you? And we refer to these sort of 4 ingredients for success. So people who are successful micro providers are people who have the right values, motivation, and vision for helping people live good lives. So you've got to want to do it. You've got to want to be in that sort of caring role. We also look towards the skills and knowledge and experience. So as we've touched on before, you can play to your strengths. You can offer something that you are confident doing, comfortable doing, something that you enjoy doing. So really sort of have a think about that when you're thinking about what you might be able to offer. Have a think about what you like doing and what you feel confident doing. You do need to be organised. So ultimately, this is you setting up your own business. So you do need to be a self-starter, be positive, be open to learning and personal development. You will be responsible for your paperwork, for your accounts. And we are absolutely here to support with that and help you along the journey and ensure that you understand everything that you need to do. But ultimately, it's got to come from you, and you've got to be able to keep on top of that. And we've talked a bit about the networks, getting networked. Big risk is isolation. So important to be in touch with other micro providers, be able to have that peer support and those sounding boards for all manner of things. And the chats on the groups do cover all sorts of topics. And they're very lively groups and very interactive. And the networks are for the micro providers. It's everybody's network. So you can really make it what you want it to be and use it to your advantage. Could I have the next slide, please?
Yeah.
And so that brings us back to myself and Claire and what we can do. And we are here right from the outset, all the way through to once somebody is set up and beyond. So there's no sort of finite time limit on the support that we offer, and even once you're set up, we're still here. So from the beginning, we can help developing your service idea. We can offer advice and signposting on getting set up and getting sorted as self-employed. We can help you build your portfolio. So there are a number of documents in there, but we will ensure that you know what they all are, what they're for, and that you understand sort of how it's put together and the reasoning behind it. We can support with access to workshops and training. There are lots of opportunities within the networks where, as we're developing the role, we're making more contacts as well with other training organisations and access to free courses and that sort of thing. Offering ideas on marketing your small enterprise. As we've talked about, that there's lots of routes for referrals and via the WhatsApp groups, via the brokerage tool, via your networks. There are other sites that you can put your details on. There's the directory, so we can ensure that you're aware of all of those and that you can put your information out there. And then also working towards reaching the doing it right quality standards. So under the County Council Micro Enterprise Programme, you sign up to be accredited, and ultimately it is your business and you run it how you want, but they do have a set of doing it right quality standards that they would expect you to sign up to and adhere to. And it is, it's, you commit to going to a client, you turn up to a client, you treat your client with dignity and respect, you treat other micro providers with dignity and respect. It's all those sorts of standards that they be looking for, so we can ensure that you're aware of all of those, and we can help with the process from start to finish on how you register your interest all the way through to becoming accredited, and off you go, and support to gain that accreditation at the end there.
Brilliant.
Thank you. So this is a quote from one of our micro providers in Somerset. It was the best decision I ever made. I'm happier, my family are happier, and most importantly, so are my clients. And I think that rounds up what the feeling of being a micro provider is when you're out there doing it. It's very much the job role revolves around the clients, but however, at the same time, you're getting that time with your family because you choose everything, where you go, who you see. So it's one of those roles that I think a lot of people become more fulfilled, especially after working a 9-to-5 job, and doing all those sort of jobs. It's certainly a job that's different. You get out there in your car in the summertime, you're out there driving, and it's lovely. You get to go and see your clients, sit out in the garden, and have an amazing time and learn about them.
And the flexibility, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the clients are very flexible. I know that. Obviously, when we get the referrals come in, you know, even if it's personal care, you know, they're not bothered if it's like 10 o'clock later in the morning. They don't want maybe a call at 8 o'clock. I mean, I know some micro providers, you know, so you can juggle it around, don't you, to sort of care for the needs. If some clients really struggle in the morning, you know, and then sometimes they don't want a shower in the morning, they would prefer to have a shower at tea time. So there's lots of flexibility, isn't there, for the client and for the micro provider. Yeah,
absolutely. And again, it's about them choosing how they want to live their lives. I've had clients before that I've gone round to, and their family's absolutely up in arms because they haven't been dressed. But he said, I ain't going out anywhere. I want to sit in my pajamas. And you think, do you know what? That's right. That's exactly how it is.
Right.
And that's how it should be.
He's having a pajama party.
Exactly.
Let him. It's fine.
No, I totally agree. Why not? So here are our contact details. We do ask people to, even if they just want to know a little bit more, to give us a call, and we can just give them a lot more information over the phone, one-to-one, and just find out where they're at and see if we can, you know, help and work around things for them, to get them on board and get them processed through to becoming an accredited micro provider. So any questions, concerns, or anything, please do give us a call. Even if you phone me and you're in the east, or Kat and you're in the west, you know, the fact that we're hearing from you is brilliant. You know, it's something that we'd really like to do. So
brilliant. I'll just put those details up on the bottom as well, just while we finish up. Ladies, that was really lovely. I want to become a micro provider. And flexibility and everything. It's, you know, it is. It's just, and like you say, I know clients that I've put in touch with micro providers, and then I ring them sort of like a few weeks later, you know, 4 or 5 weeks later, and see how things are getting on. And it's like, I don't know what I'd do without her, you know, or I don't know what I'd do without him. He's amazing, you know. It's changed my life, you know. And especially, I think after COVID, some have been literally just a befriending service, which I know some people don't want to pay for that, but actually it's got to the point that if they don't pay for it, they're not going to be able to go out because they're too scared to. You know, they're gaining their confidence and things like that. So it's a very special job to be part of. So
hugely rewarding.
Let's hope we can recruit some more. That would be really, really special. So I hope you've all enjoyed it today.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't come again.
No, thank you for having us. So
let's hope in 6 months' time we've recruited some more micro providers. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Take care and have a lovely rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.